YouTube land, Dan here from GeekCast Radio doing another Marvel Fresh Start review. This is as I go through all the Fresh Start titles, giving you my thoughts and opinions on them. This time I'm continuing my look at the Immortal Hulk series with a review of Immortal Hulk number 4. And this has been my favorite series out of all the Fresh Start titles so far. I love the approach Ewing and Joe Bennett have been doing, taking the idea of Hulk and kind of bringing him back to his monster roots. The storytelling techniques, the episodic structure has worked really well in my opinion. Last issue was a little bit different. We had a mixture of artists and kind of recapping the actions of Hulk through different people's eyes and utilizing different artists. This is more of a straightforward issue. I will say this is probably, for me, the weakest issue out of the series so far. I still liked it. It's a necessary issue in a way where this was all about one main thing, and that was providing context. And really, as we've seen in the last two issues, Hulk and Bruce Banner have been mostly absent. They show up here and there. This has been mostly a conversation between Jacqueline McGee, the reporter, who's been investigating all these Bruce Banner and Hulk sightings, and Bruce Banner's ex-college roommate, Walter Legowski, commonly known as, or his other alter ego of Sasquatch. And it's really them kind of working together. And we get a lot of context regarding the history of Legowski and Banner, them being college roommates. And personally, I didn't know that. So I don't know if this is a new development for this book, but we see them in college. And Legowski was this jock who was smart, but not to the level of Bruce Banner, and there was some animosity with them throughout their college years. And then he learns what happens to Bruce Banner becoming the Hulk, and he tries to replicate it and ends up becoming Sasquatch. So you see the two parallels between them, and giving us an idea of kind of where Legowski's coming from, how he's so connected to Bruce, not only being his college roommate, but also how the Sasquatch gamma radiation structure is very similar to that of Hulk, maybe not to the same level. But we also see that, Bruce Banner in college was kind of a jerk, but he also was dealing with a great deal. That is something known. His father was crazy. He's in an abusive household. His mother was passed away. So there's a lot of buildup, a lot of talk regarding Bruce Banner and walking through the aftermath of, seeing the destruction. And this hasn't been a comic full of a lot of action. It's really been about more so atmosphere and kind of morality, really, than it has been. And we also get some history of Sasquatch. So it was necessary, I think, to provide context to where the story is going next. But I do wonder if the idea of putting it all within one issue was the right choice. We've had all this, all these episodic tales up to this point. To make such a sharp turn so quickly, it made it seem a little bit dragging a little bit more than it did previous issues. I do like where it ends. I do like where the build up where it ends off, and learning of kind of where Hulk has become this kind of gamma radiation radar that's locking in on all these different people. And we see kind of the aftermath of going through different towns, and basically how Legowski has learned more and more about him, learned about his patterns, how he goes to bars to find out information, and that's where he kind of finds out the people that need to be taken out for one way or another. So it's weird, like it's become this almost Punisher-esque type of character where he's finding people that are doing bad things, from killing others to dealing meth or what have you. And there's been a lot of conversations within bars. There's also some other things underneath that seem to be popping up. That aren't directly stated. Everything seems a little bit off. People are getting angry quicker. Even Legowski, the way that Joe Bennett draws him, I don't know. He just has this constant look on his face of like he's hiding something. He just seems a little bit more. I don't know if it's the gigantic sideburns, but it's just the snarl. It just seems like there's something there. Like he seems more. There's something behind his actions. Maybe there is more of a vindictive motive than we're led to believe. He has been a member of Alpha Flight. He hasn't really been approached this way, but we are seeing that they are approaching different characters in new light. So maybe there are all these feelings that are coming back up. I would say not a big gripe, a minor gripe is they talk about going. They were in Penn State, and that was the college they went to, and then they refer to it as Penn. No one in Penn State calls Penn State Penn. That's not how that works. Penn's a totally different college. So it also feels weird that of all the colleges, Bruce Banner went to Penn State. I mean, not Harvard or Yale, but Penn State. I mean, one of many. I say this as someone who grew up with family that go to Penn State. So nothing bad about Penn State by any means. But I just thought that was kind of humorous. I saw no one calls it Penn, but whatever. It's not important ultimately. So I also think I like Joe Bennett's work within this. It works best when we have these kind of darker colors, when you have the more seedy atmosphere. When it's more straightforward in the conversational piece, and you're just having more, it to me it doesn't work as well. It just doesn't. It loses a lot of that. It just feels better when it's able to maintain that mood, and we have the darker coloring. It just fits. I feel like it fits his style a little bit more. So I still think there's a lot to enjoy in this issue, but ultimately, it is very much a setup issue. It's a necessity of storytelling when it comes to comic books. You need to have that issue where it's like here it all is. Here, let me build you a lot of background. Like I said, my only thought is that maybe you didn't need to save it all for this issue, or maybe spread it out a little bit more. And as we've getting bit by bit, this seems to be like taking the progression to a halt, just to go back and let us know who all these players are. So that was my biggest gripe, because I love the episodic nature of it. That was like a book, one of the few books that were on the stands where you could pick up any issue, whether it be 1, 2, or 3, make it your first Hulk book, and it would work perfectly. This not so much. If you pick this up by itself, it won't make as much sense without reading the previous issues. So it's still, to me, one of the better books on the shelves for Marvel. It's just this issue is not necessarily up to that level, although where it leaves off makes me think that it could potentially get back on track moving forward. So we'll see. I don't know if the intention is going back after, if this is how this will go as it finish up each arc. We'll have a kind of a longer story arc within the last 3 issues, or if it will get back to the episodic structure. I'm not sure. I hope it kind of does. I like that. It's so rare in comics, but ultimately, if you're looking for a Marvel book, this is still one I would recommend. So all right, well, that's it for me. If you want to get more from my stuff, check out GeekCast Radio. A lot of stuff there. Check out this channel, a lot of other reviews, and comic hauls, things of that nature. So just remember, comics are for everyone. The key is finding the right one. Until next time, thanks for watching.